welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel studios and streaming to you worldwide for those outside the borders of the United States on yorbamedia.com. All right, I'm joined by Nick Brusatore, Executive Chairman, Director, Spokesperson of Affinor Growers. And this gentleman is known globally for being a top designer and leader in vertical farming technology, symbol on the Canadian Securities Exchange, AFI, and on the OTCQB US Exchange, RSSFF. And the web address for all you who should definitely take a look at what this person and this company does is AFFINOR growers.com. All right, Nick, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure.
All right, mine too. If we can, let's open up a little bit about yourself, the culture you bring, because you've got a tremendous background in what you bring to the company, and also what Affinor Growers does.
Sure. I've been in the vertical farming space for about 15 years. I've designed a lot of things in my career. Prior to that, for the movie industry, large movies. And prior to that, I've had some successes in the marijuana field with other designs. I was the chairman of the Applied Research Board for BCIT for a number of years, and working with a lot of scientists there with extracting, cures for leukemia and malaria. I was nominated for the Agriculture Award of Excellence in 2012 in Canada. I've been doing plant physiology and working with organic chemistry and engineering for problematic crop solving for the world for quite some time. And now I've decided to, make my move as I'm ready to commercialize with new designs and new patents to emerge into the markets with mechanically pollinated strawberries with no pesticide use and zero water waste for, 12 months of the year production in a modular format to automate and industrialize the plant growth markets.
Now, Nick, not everybody knows what vertical farming technology is. Some people think, hydroponics, but open that up. Explain that to me.
Sure. Well, vertical farming is not necessarily just a farm on a roof or a farm that is grown in the 20th floor in a high-rise. Vertical farming is designed, engineered technology that is grown in greenhouses or in buildings, but in many levels. So in the same square footage, it'll compound, like ours is 13 levels. So every square foot, we're 13 times per square foot because we're growing in these towers that rotate for pollination. So the compounding, we're growing in cubic feet as opposed to square feet.
Okay. All right. That better explains it to me. The growth rate for this type of farming is, are you, I get the feeling that you're really kind of a pioneer when it comes to bringing out the new ways to solve world hunger and things of that nature.
Yeah, one of the big mandates personally for me passionately is to be able to assist with the world hunger. There's a lot of great technologies out there that complement us with utilizing water and conserving water and energy, wind energy and solar, combined with our growing methods. We're going to be able to assist the world in, producing food as well as not producing food, but we'll also be creating jobs and sustainability in remote regions or in countries that are quite a bit less fortunate.
Let's go down that road. Remote regions, other countries, creating employment and commerce, and solving the world's food problem, especially getting away from GMOs.
Yeah, we tend to stay away from GMOs. To me, it's not necessarily the solve because we're working in controlled environments. We're sort of the exact opposite of GMOs. We make plants do certain things just based on pure physiology and utilizing the biology of the plant through protocols like air, water, temperature, light, a lot of different manipulations that are done naturally without genetic modification. We're very excited about what we're capable of doing by way of manipulating metabolic pathways to create plants to do certain things in the chemistry side of things, but also to be able to ensure that we are able to, particularly strawberries, be able to produce strawberries in December and through the winter months anywhere in Canada or colder climates.
You touch on it. It's a high-level view of what goes on, but solving food problems around the globe is not as easy as you made it sound. We just
No.
I just twist the dial a little bit. It's a little bit more involved in that. How do you become a world leader doing that?
Well, as we commercialize our technologies, and as we just signed a letter of intent to purchase my parent company, Vertical Designs, which is going to be rolled into Affinor. And the reason it's going to be rolled into Affinor is so that Affinor is no longer just a company that is going to grow food, but now Affinor is positioned and poised with the various designs and patent technologies that we have to identify some revenue streams. We'll be able to license the technology out for license fees around the world. This will help implement it. We collect the royalties on the products being grown. We build the equipment, so we make our equipment margin. We'll be consultants and run the development budget. So there's 4 identified revenue streams, and then of course we have our operations with some of our partners that we're in negotiations with. So with having the ability to be able to do the licensing and maneuver the equipment around the world, we will be able to assist, less fortunate countries to be able to install the equipment and be able to grow the company quite rapidly after we build the first facility out here in Vancouver. It looks to be like it's going to happen on the rooftop in Vancouver.
All right. Well, tell me about these other countries that you're growing into and the expansion that you're looking to make.
Yeah, well, like I said, on top of our revenues for our production here in North America, we plan on growing the business by licensing in places like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, in Australia, Spain. We have water issues all over the world that are taking place. The salinity levels are rising. Evaporation is taking place with water on the planet. And we have a lot of issues with mutation of insects that are changing. We have bee pollination issues due to the pesticide use in the fields. The bees' immune systems are shot. We have on this planet right now, we have encompassed and created a lot of issues that are slowly affecting the way that we produce food right now. And then, of course, we have our population growth, which is, making it even more difficult because the demand on the amount of food that's required now is increasing dramatically. And we just don't have the clean, potable water anymore to be able to mass produce, and the irrigation waste just can't happen anymore. So this is one of the things where we're able to go into countries that have perhaps less water, utilize the water because we recycle all of our water, and make it happen in areas traditionally that typically would not happen. So this is kind of our advantage that we have for implementation around the world. And we believe that Affinor, owning VDL, my Vertical Designs, will be the go-to company for the problematic crop solving for the world and creating sustainability in the new way of agriculture.
So it's not just the crops that you're healing; you're also healing the pollination process through at least the bees. Because if they have healthier plants, then they can make a comeback. Because I understand that population is dwindling quickly.
Yes, I mean if we have huge strawberry facilities and we were to create bee colonies and utilize them indoors so they're not affected by the pesticides outside, we could in fact effectively create huge bee colonies, let them feed on the pollen that's in our indoor greenhouse facilities, and then at the end of the season we could release the hives and release them into the wild for perhaps next season. But we have a real issue. It's very difficult to get off of the oil-based petroleum fertilizers and pesticides that are being sprayed because of the environments outside are becoming radical, and it's becoming increasingly more difficult to grow in the fields.
Especially in foreign countries where they're really more concerned about the buck than they are environment. Nick, let's do this. Let's take a little break right now, and I want to cover some of these other topics on the other side when we come back, okay?
Of course, yes.
All right, we'll be right back with Nick Brusatore, Chairman, CEO, Director, Spokesman for Affinor Growers, and the symbol is RSSFF, AFI if you're looking at the Canadian Securities Exchange. And special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800 Public Relations for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back.
From the North Texas Traffic Center in Garland on the northbound side of 635 at Northwest Highway, that earlier accident we had working there has been cleared, but things are unwinding back from Town East Boulevard. Also in Fort Worth, the westbound side of I-20 at Hewlin Street, we're getting reports of an accident there. That's causing a stop-and-go delay back from Trail Lake Drive. I'm Shauna Nance with your KFXR traffic.
With approved credit, fast, fair, and minutes from anywhere. Pat Loeb Toyota McKinney.
Drive new 2014 Corolla LEs for $129 a month. $129 a month.
You get it fast and fair at PatLoebToyotaMcKinney.com.
It's not your daddy's farm anymore. There's no doubt technology has changed the way we grow bigger crops, feed our livestock, and also access market information. With the new Yorba Market Center, today's farmers and ranchers are embracing new technology through smartphones, tablets, and the internet to give their business an edge. The Yorba Market Center gives you real-time quote access, news, and weather at a low monthly rate to help you stay better informed. Visit us today for a free trial at yorbamedia.com or call 214-504-9470.
Go to pagetrader.com right now and sign up for a free trial of Messenger Pro. Messenger Pro will give you the latest multi-day and multi-week price roadmaps for exactly where the S&P 500, gold, crude, the euro, and many other markets are going. Put the power of the roadmap to work in your next trade. That's pagetrader.com or call toll-free at 888-231-4702. pagetrader.com.
Would you like access to an accredited investor audience that can take your business to the next level? We have the most diverse demographics in the DFW Metroplex. Men and women changing the pace in the new economy today. Get ahead of the competitive curve by advertising on our new drive time slot, 6 a.m. to 7:30. Contact us at 214-504-9470 for all your media needs.
From the Mini Cooper Weather Center, this report is brought to you by the iHeart Radio app. Today, partly sunny with a 30% chance of showers, high of 92. Tonight, cloudy, low of 72.
This time of year, you can have beautiful days that suddenly turn ugly. Surprise storms, damaging hail, and deadly tornadoes. Be informed. Your traffic and weather are always available with the iHeart Radio app. Download it today.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios, broadcasting to you worldwide from yorbamedia.com. I've got Nick Brusatore. He is the Executive Chairman, Director, and Spokesperson for Affinor Growers. Symbol on the U.S. exchange, RSSFF, and symbol on the Canadian exchange, AFI. Nick, welcome back.
Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure. All right. When we left off in the last segment, you were talking about healing the world's hunger problem by actually getting pure foods through your processes, your patented processes, and also healing, the pollination effect. Before we get into the marijuana industry and the revenue models there, which are massive, and I'm sure they are, and the medical side of it, but I wanted to know the countries that you're going into. Do you get any pushback from these, because if you get outside of the borders of the United States, you get generational, cartels that are involved in this thing, and I got to get my piece, and it's the buck and who you got to pay off. That's a rough road to hoe, man. No pun intended.
Yeah, no, we're going to be working through a lot of governments within other countries. We don't have as much cartel to deal with, obviously in Australia and Spain and
right.
some of the European and England and Ireland and a lot of these, the UK. There's a lot of people that are trying to solve crop issues. The marijuana industry is very different. Trying to go into other countries, you're dealing in uncharted water. I'm a little more comfortable being in Canada and the United States in the marijuana markets. But you never know as things grow. But as far as the food goes, I don't expect to have much pushback at all, as people got to eat. And, governments don't seem to be in the habit of trying to deprive their people from the food and the sustainability right now based on the environmental issues they're facing and they see as well.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. And thank you for answering that question. I would, because it's a big concern to a lot of people of being able to get past this. And I understand, but Latin American countries, there's ripe for growing food down there. But all right, enough of that. Let's do this. Let's change trends for just a little bit and talk about the marijuana industry, because that is something that is massive. It's global, and to be at the forefront to help provide cures for a lot of people where this actually, it does help them. It's not a recreational drug. You know what I mean? It's actually got a medical purpose. Let's go in there and see what you're doing there.
Sure. We've looking in Washington right now. We're in the process of due diligence to hopefully begin working with a group out of Washington for a marijuana facility. We currently own a facility in Vancouver here that is growing right now under the old system. We're just awaiting our new Health Canada license. And we're looking in Colorado, and we're actually, we got a call, and we're now looking at New York. I guess there's another 5 licenses that are being up for grabs in New York. We're just we're playing it very safe, though the market is big. It's still a little bit unsettled. Are we looking at full legalization and this product becoming sort of commodified and the price coming down quite dramatically based on the production? Or is it going to stay a boutique type thing, and the governments are not going to allow the tobacco and the pharma industry to come in and the liquor industry to come in and sort of grab a hold of it under policy and regulatory issues?
They can't stop that.
No, I don't think they can stop it, but I think what happens is in the event of legalization, if full legalization comes in, it's like do people make their own beer anymore, or do they make their own cigarettes anymore? Not too many do, because the way that the import-export laws are with the products as they're made, and the governance under it, they're mass producing it, and then of course it's all falling under the category of liquor and tobacco laws, which the distribution, the taxation, all the policies and laws are already governed and written. So my opinion is that we could end up heading for legalization sooner than people think federally, which will, in my opinion, ultimately drive the price of marijuana down quite dramatically. And you're going to be competing on more of a global level. And in the event of that happening, Affinor has, through its purchase of EDL, has an agreement, will have an agreement that VDL owns, Vertical Designs owns, with a company called Abatis Bioceuticals for production of marijuana. And it also, in this acquisition of the rooftop garden, as it purchases another vertical farming technology, which I will retool up to be ready for the marijuana markets, to license the technology to the United States or to other countries for the production of marijuana in greenhouses, so that we're ready for, in the event of legalization and these policies happen, we have to produce this stuff for $100 or $200 a pound. We'll be ready to do that and service the tobacco industry or the full federal legalization industry. The pharmaceutical side of life in the marijuana industry is very different. We believe that CBDs the price is coming down already, as we discussed with a number of groups that are producing them, to create the compounds and the compound drug patents in the pharmaceutical industry. So we're seeing this whole market evolve based on, I've given the big speeches in New York with Trish Reagan from CNBC, and I believe the governor of Rhode Island was on the panel with us as well. And then the year after that, I was the moderator in the United States in San Francisco the year after, speaking at the largest marijuana conference in the world on behalf of North America to discuss the analytics and some of the policies that are actually falling into place now. So I'm quite excited about the transition from the marijuana markets becoming sort of archaic to starting to now commercialize to a sense that actually society is going to be able to adapt and utilize it as well as collect the taxes from it and create proper true sustainability for all of the people that are involved in the markets.
Since you're on these boards and you speak at the conferences as one of the top experts, let's get into that just a second. The policies, for short term and longer term, obviously, global legalization is the big goal for everybody in that part of the business. But first, second, and third, what do you think is going to happen next for the policies in this huge market? Anyway, let me just shut up and let you talk for a second.
That's all right. Well, the policies, like I said, in Canada, they're being particularly careful right now, keeping it medical. And then, of course, you got to the U.S. and you've got your particular state laws that are taking place, and they kind of vary. So I think the real opportunity in the marijuana industry is when it becomes federally legal. Now, this is just what I see. Now, when it becomes federally legal, what happens is the competition becomes a lot more fierce. The federally legal means that you're going to be competing now against the largest players in the world, which will be the pharmaceutical industry, the tobacco industry, and I'm not sure if the liquor industry is going to be getting involved entirely as far as producing anything, but there's certainly, Washington is leaning on the liquor laws and looking to the liquor laws in order to continue the governance of the product, which is, completely the way to go. I commend Washington so far as to how they're doing it. Colorado has its own system, seems to be working out well. The biggest thing for me is the safety of the product for the American and Canadian people. People that are now finally, the analytics are being done so that we know that there's no heavy metals and pesticide use, and it's being treated a little bit more delicately and professionally as opposed to, we're selling marijuana, medical marijuana to people as medicine, and, you don't know if it's got E. coli, salmonella, or if it's loaded with heavy metals or pesticides on it. So, it's nice to see the evolvement of that industry starting to take place. But
Nick, I hate to interrupt you. We're at a hard break and we got to close this thing, but I want to thank you for coming on to the show. I really appreciate the work that you're doing in this industry, and the world appreciates you.
Oh, well, no problem. Thank you very much. Anytime.
My pleasure. We'll come back anytime. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, Brusatore, Executive Chairman, Director, Spokesman, Affinor Growers, AFFINOR, GROWERS.com, symbol RSSFF, and on the Canadian Exchange, AFI. Thank you all. Special thanks to Monk Media, 1-800 Public Relations, for all their PR and media support. We'll talk to you soon. See you back at the same time tomorrow.